first verse of the 41st. This week on the internet, on our Facebook page, the scripture of Psalm 37 came up. It's one of those great psalms that has a high sound, an amazing sound of not fearing. Let me read 3 verses of that to you, just to set the stage. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass they will soon wither, like green plants they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Wouldn't it be lovely just to be able to let all your troubles go when those things that are bothering you, the fears that are in your life, the concerns, the heartbreaks, just be able to let them go and fade away. But our circumstances plague us. Have you noticed? They don't just instantly go away. Have you been watching the news and the things that are happening in the Middle East right now? I'm sure you have. As we've watched the problems develop in Egypt between the factions that are there, the elected government deposed by the military, and now there's this confrontation in the squares and the riots in the street, and there's been attacks and many people killed, many people shot, many people beaten, old, young, the very young, all together, and we're seeing these bodies being carried away, and it just is almost unbearable. We're wondering, how in the world? How in the world? Because might seems to give the right, doesn't it? Those that are in power are able to take it out on those who are resisting, and their death, and sorrow, and heartbreak. And not only there, but Syria, the things that are happening in Syria, and the civil war that's there. And we've seen the videos of where currently hundreds of children who died in these attacks, accused of using poisonous and nerve gases that have brought these lives to an end. Both sides pointing at the other, saying it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. And yet, might seems to give the right, it seems to give power. And we're wondering, where is this promise of let your troubles go and find the healing and the direction of God? When the psalm says, don't fret, that can be hard for us to take, because even in our own lives, it seems like the powerful rule and crush the weak. When we see situations at work or in the community, we want to see honesty, we want to see fair play, we want to see equal treatment, we want to see patience. And yet what we see flies in the face of the promise that God seems to give here. If there's anybody who understood some of the ill treatment in the world, it's Joseph, found in Genesis. We've been doing this series about Joseph. Joseph understands that things don't always go your way. He knew, he knew that from his own experience. Here is a young man who as a teen had the dream that he was going to be the leader of his family, that God was going to make him the one to take them to the place they needed to go. And of course, when he told his brothers, all proud, they weren't so pleased. And as we know, they were already jealous, and so they sold him as a slave. Rather than kill him, they were doing him a favor. They sold him as a slave, shipped him off to Egypt, where he was sold to one of the high officials of Pharaoh's court. This man, Potiphar, he became a slave of Potiphar, which would be a death sentence. You never get out of that relationship, ever. And he's stuck. But in the middle of his sorrow and his loss and his slavery, God makes him rise up as leader of the household. He is so good that he is put in charge of everything that Potiphar owns. And he is doing well. He is shining for God until Mrs. Potiphar, doesn't tell us her name, Mrs. Potiphar takes a shine to Joseph. And because he refuses her, she slanders him. He's put in prison, the deepest, darkest prison, a place where Pharaoh kept his political enemies. That's the deepest hole in the country, just like it is now. And so there is Joseph cast to the bottom again, but in that prison, he becomes a leader. God makes him shine. He can organize and produces what's good. And so he's soon running most of the prison. And the warden doesn't even worry about it because Joseph is in charge. And so here he is at the top of the bottom of the heap, and he is living a life that's blessed by God in the most unblessed chief baker and his wine steward. The chief baker, I don't know, bad bagels or something, he's in prison. The wine steward, seeing that wine steward, that cupbearer, as sometimes he's called, that's an important person because he's the protector of the Pharaoh. He tastes the wine first, so he poisons it. He's watching the Pharaoh's back, see who might be coming up. Did you know that most assassinations are done by the guards of the one who's assassinated? That's true. He needed somebody watching his back. This wine steward is a trusted man. I don't know what went wrong, but right now he's in prison. He's in there with Joseph. As we saw last week, Joseph is a man who's on the job. He sees these guys. He's taking care of their needs. When they have a bad dream, they can't interpret it, he's there for them. He gives them the interpretation, and he moves them through so that they are blessed. They know what they're going to be doing. Not so good for the baker, pretty good for the wine steward. All right? And so the Lord brings him through. And so as that cupbearer, the wine steward of the Pharaoh was going out, Joseph stops him and says, "Look, buddy." It's not in the Bible. Look, buddy's not. He says, "But when all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison." Emphasis line. "I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon." Joseph is a sharp guy. He knows who has influence in the world. He knows what he has to offer, what he's done to this person. This guy is going to go right back to the Pharaoh's side. He has the ear of Pharaoh as an advisor, as the protector. This guy has connections. If he persuades Pharaoh, there is no power in Egypt that will leave Joseph in prison. This is his easy out. This is his escape route. So he says, remember me. Remember me when you go out of here. Verse 23, chapter 40, and verse 1 of chapter 41. The chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. 2 years. Did Pharaoh, the servant of Pharaoh a favor. Totally forgotten him. For 2 years, Joseph remained right where he was before. In spite of his death strategy, in spite of putting himself out as one who's valuable to help them. Joseph is waiting. He's waiting on God. And what else can you do at that moment? He's not getting out of that prison. So he has to wait. And to us, waiting means inactivity. It's kind of set and it's kind of like a train. You know, when the trains used to be slow through here before they were the track, they come do it 15 miles an hour. You're that much too late at the intersections. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're getting dizzy. You know how it was. Clumpy, the shape, the rocking back and forth. It's kind of mesmerizing. There's nothing to do, right? You just have to wait till it passes. You're not going to contest that train. Well, you can try it, but it's not good. And you have to wait. And that's our idea of waiting. Just gritting our teeth and waiting for the to pass. You know, there's a different use for that word, wait. It's like a restaurant will have a wait staff. In a really good restaurant, do you ever see those waiters and waitresses standing around? No. They're waiting in a real hurry, aren't they? They're going from place to place, table to table, making sure to wipe up that spill, bring a drink of water, ask if they need this or that. Do you need some more queso? Have you ever heard lovelier words than that? You need some more queso. They're right there for you so that your chips have that cheese on it. Oh man. The amazing thing, to see a really good waiter or waitress work, it's amazing. You turn away, your glass is half empty. When you turn back, it's full. And you never even knew they were there. We were at school the other day at a restaurant about how you wait on a table. You come up to it, instead of looming over, you turn sideways. Reach in with the arm, just like this. Pour the water, pour the coffee. That way you're maybe not looming over everybody, and they're not cowering away from you. It's all strategy, but it's swift, it's sure, it's purposeful, it's waiting for the opportunity and filling it. It's anticipation of there will be a need. They'll need this towel, they'll need that, and I will fill it, that need, before it's even felt by that person at the table. That's effective waiting, and this is Joseph waiting on the